Why do we think we need to do it all? Who sold us this farce? Being supermom is not all it's cracked up to be. I know you're doing the grocery shopping, the meal planning, the carpooling, your actual work projects. I mean, those get a whole category by themselves. So we're going to talk today about sharing the load, and that process is called delegation. Come with me. I've got a super simple, fun, and a little bit silly method for you to try when it comes to delegating. And I think you'll remember it because it channels all of our playground childhood memories. Do you remember the game TAG? So that is our acronym for today. We're going to do the TAG method when it comes to learning how to delegate. And we're going to start with tip number 1, task. And there's 2 main components to this. The first thing is you want to start small. We want to keep the stakes super low. It's a huge deal that you're even delegating anything to anybody. What? You normally don't do this. So don't set yourself up for failure or the other person. And we don't want emotions to be too high if mistakes are made. The second thing is to be super specific. So it's not enough to just tell someone what to do and even how to do it. You gotta give them a little bit more, and that's what I mean by being specific. You gotta tell them when something is due. When do you want something done by? It's so important to give someone the timing of when you need it or when the organization needs it. The other thing that you want to make sure you're telling them is why they're doing it. Why do you need it? Why is it important to the larger whole? Whether that is the success of your organization or just how is it going to make your home a better place by them doing this particular task? And last but certainly not least is something that we don't even think about sharing with people when we give them something to do. And then we're super upset about it when they don't do it. They cannot read our minds. So what we need to give them also is, what does done look like? What is the finished product? What's going to make me feel like, wow, you did such a great job? Give them the information about what the end game looks like. We want to make sure that they don't feel like they're just doing a task. They feel like they're contributing. They feel like they're adding value. They feel like they're making a difference. And it might be a super small task, but it's still meaningful. So explain that to them and give them a little bit of oomph that they need to get it done, and to get it done in a way that not only meets your expectations, but possibly exceeds it. So we've got the task identified. We know what we want and kind of how we want it done. We're super specific on that. Here's where we can drop the ball. We don't get intentional about who we assign that task to. Now, there's 3 main components you can use when you're assigning a task to someone. First, you can do it based on someone who has the skill level, the expertise, they're super capable, you trust them to be able to deal with this. That's the first one. Another criteria that you could use for assigning a task to someone is their level of motivation or interest. Now, I know that sometimes we only look at skills and capabilities, but motivation can be a big deal. If someone's super excited about learning something, they're usually going to give a lot of energy or their all towards that thing. We have a snack drawer in our house that I like to keep super organized, and I'm a little OCD about it. And one day my son came up to me and he was like, "Hey, can I pack the snack drawer?" And a part of me wanted to be like, "This is my snack drawer, get away." I only get to pack things really nice and neatly in here. He'll call me over and I'll just be like, "Oh my God, you did such a good job." And you could tell that he's so proud of himself. So it's just one of those areas where he has a natural interest. Sometimes that could be more valuable than even having the capabilities, because that desire, that energy that they're going to bring to that task is going to be so much better for the finished product. So the last thing that you might want to use as criteria in figuring out who is the right person for the job is it something that you want to help someone grow, gain confidence, gain independence in? Now, I went to college and didn't know how to do my laundry, so I had to call my mother on the phone, and I was just like, is red a light or a dark? Because these are things that I did not figure out when I was actually at home with my parents. So I have started teaching them how to do their laundry. Now we have had some mishaps. Not gonna lie, a little blue crayon in a pocket can send you to a mental institution. Thank God I'm still here. We're all still here thanks to OxyClean, not sponsored in this video. We're focusing on their growth. They're not gonna do it perfectly. I'm not necessarily gonna give them my clothes to wash, right? But I'm not looking for them to have the skill and capabilities. I'm not looking for them to have the desire to want to do laundry. I barely have the desire to want to do laundry, but I'm definitely looking for them to grow in confidence and in independence in that area. And sometimes that's enough. If there are mistakes that happen because you know you're focusing on growth and not that you're expecting them to know how to do it all, then you need to be patient and be understanding and give them all the grace that they're going to need so that they continue to build their confidence. I mean, think about it. This is an act of trust. You assigning someone something that you care about, something that you normally do yourself. And whatever the reason is that you chose that person, it's about building a better relationship with someone either you care about and you love, or someone that you respect at work that you want to help grow in a different way. Either way, delegation is so much bigger than saving time or checking off a task. Number 3, guide. Now here is the capstone of this entire thing. Yes, you have to be specific about the task. Yes, you have to assign that task to the right person. At least be intentional about your why you're giving this person this thing to do for you. Now you don't just leave them to their own devices. You are there to provide feedback, to support them, to encourage them. And I know you're thinking, this is the part that takes all the time. I get it. You're not delegating for today. When you put money into an investment, if you go take it out today, it's the same money. Nothing has happened. You haven't allowed for any time for it to grow, for it to get better, for you to reap the benefits. That does take patience and it does take time, but it also is worth it. If you put $100 in the bank and in 3 months you're taking out thousands of dollars, I think you're gonna find that that is very much worth the time and the patience that you gave yourself, right? It's the same for delegation. You want to be able to support and nurture that person so they are so good at what they do, maybe even better than you, God forbid, clutch my pearls. They don't necessarily need you anymore to do it. They can go off and do that thing, maybe even take more off of your plate because they have this increased confidence and they feel more capable and they enjoyed how you delegated, right? So now they're coming to you to work with you because they're learning and not just feeling like they're being sabotaged and work is just being dropped on their plate without any support. There are a couple of mistakes you have to avoid when you're being a guide. You don't want to micromanage. You're there to answer questions, to offer support and encouragement, and maybe even to remind them of the method. Do not be, oh, nope, that's not how you do it. Nope, don't touch that right there. That's going to stress you out and stress them out and make them not want to do it at all. Fight the urge to micromanage. If you need to go out of the room, go out of the room. So the other thing that we need to keep in our mind's eye is that the outcome is more important than the method. Yes, you will show them for the first time because it's new to them how to do this thing step by step based on your own best practices. But they are their own person and they get to figure out and do this thing the way that they want as long as they get it done. Celebrate the fact that not only did they get it done, but they got it done without you. So you could go do something else. God is good. An example of that in my house is my husband and cooking. Now, I used to focus on the fact that when he cooked, that he didn't clean up as he went along, like I do, right? Like this is the right way to do it. That's what we tell ourselves. Instead of focusing on the method, him having all the different spices out on the countertops, all the spoons, and me being overwhelmed by coming out into the kitchen and seeing it all, I should have been focused on the outcome. a healthy, delicious meal that I did not have to cook. Therefore, I was off doing something else. That's where the focus should be, and I should be grateful, not critical. Don't make it hard for someone to help you. With the tag method, what we want to do is we want to define that task. We want to be real intentional about who we assign the task to, and then we want to be available to be a guide. And if you're having issues feeling guilty about delegating, then watch my video about mom guilt. It's coming up next. See you next time.